Okay, I get the point. You've got a lot of questions about relationships. One of the things that keeps coming back up, and I see your questions coming in, is about how to sort out your relationship. Now, whether you're on the verge of breaking up, or maybe you've just got together with someone, this principle applies. I've read so many books about relationships. I've had so many relationships. I've had so many reflections and lessons from relationships, but Gary Chapman absolutely nails it. In his book, The 5 Love Languages, he really talks about how we can have great relationships with whoever we're with. And actually, these apply to friends, family, and even beyond. So this information could actually transform your experience of relationships. Are you ready? Here we go. Gary Chapman shares that we're all governed by these love languages. And we have a different rating for all of them. There's 5 of them in total. And when I'm talking you through them, I want you to think, which one of those is me, right? I want you to think about that. Which one of, not me, but you. Which one of those is you?
Me?
And I want you to write down in the comments which you think you are. So the first one is words of affirmation. These are people who need encouragement, appreciation, and recognition through words. Are you one of those people? If you are, write it down in the comments right now.
Tell me I'm beautiful.
The second type of love language is physical touch. Someone who loves a hug, someone who loves a cuddle, someone who loves experiencing affection through touch.
Touch me.
The third love language, according to Gary, is receiving gifts. Now, you may think, who doesn't like receiving gifts? But these are people where gifts are their top priority.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
The fourth language that Gary talks about is quality time, something I'm sure so many of you can relate to. These people feel most loved when they're given quality time.
I need more time.
And the fifth and final one is acts of service. These are people who value acts of service more than anything else.
Would you do me a small favor?
So now that hopefully you've figured out which one you are, or which few you are, you might be 1, 2, 3, but make sure, my advice, get them into a bit of a priority order so that you can understand yourself better. Are gifts number 1, or acts of service number 1? Is quality time number 1, or actually is it physical touch? That's number 1 for you. Figure that out before we get on to the next part of the video.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!
Okay, I didn't give you very long, so we're moving on anyway, but make sure you got a good idea. Now's the more difficult part for you. I want you to think which one your partner is. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or if you're talking about your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, or your friends, that's cool too. Which one do you think they are as a priority? If you're finding this difficult, it's probably a really important thing to know, and you can observe or find this out by looking at how they responded to different things you or others have done in the past. When were they most happy? When were they most appreciative? When did they share their recognition? When did they share their appreciation for something that you or others did for them? Which ones did you know were genuine and sincere? And which ones did you recognize were a little forced and almost where they felt obligated to? The more closely you observe this, the more this principle is going to help you. This is how you communicate with someone whose love language is words of affirmation. You need to encourage, affirm, appreciate, empathize, and listen actively. Some of the things you can do is send an unexpected note, a card, or a text message, and make sure that you encourage them genuinely and often. It isn't about just saying stuff for the sake of it. Hey, I like your shoes. Hey, I like your jacket. Hey, I like your hair today. Not making it up, but seriously, sincerely expressing recognition for something you value about them. And here are some of the things to avoid. Non-constructive criticism. They don't like being told what they're doing wrong if it's not constructive, when they're not even hearing what they're doing right. And if they've done something special or they've gone out of their way and that effort isn't recognized, that's something to avoid too. Make sure you're not missing that trip.
I think I get it.
Now, maybe the person you're thinking of, their love language is physical touch. This one's quite simple, but often misunderstood. The point is to express and appreciate them through physical touch in the way that they appreciate, not in the way you want to. Actions to take include making intimacy a thoughtful priority, using it as a way to show care, affection, and love. Things to avoid is physical affection just for the sake of it, or actually when it's cold and ingenuine. Maybe the person you're thinking of loves gifts. Actions to take here are make sure that you get them thoughtful, genuine gifts that they're really connected to. They may even drop in a few hints or tips as to what they really want. So make sure that you're tuned in, because the last thing you want to do with these people is get something they really don't want. If someone's been name dropping a gift or something that they want for quite a few months and you get something else, you're in trouble. Another thing you can do with these individuals is when you receive gifts from them, make sure you appreciate them deeply, because that's their love language. That's the one that they want to see reciprocated with too. The fourth one is quality quality time. It sounds simple, but it's actually much harder. It's all about creating those special moments, those getaways, really focused effort and focused time where you can spend together. The things you want to avoid are those distractions on the phone, the television, Netflix, when you're sitting together, when you're eating a meal, or when you're out for dinner. For these people, that's the number one thing to avoid. And the fifth one is acts of service. Probably one of the hardest things to do: arranging a breakfast, getting dinner made, helping them with their daily chores, their daily activities, supporting them in their change of habits. That's the stuff that they truly recognize. For this, you need to realize what they really need help with in their day-to-day. So these are the 5 love languages. The biggest challenge we have is that we show love through the one that we want. If you're a gifts person, you give more gifts. If you believe in quality time, you give quality time. What we need to focus on is what the other person wants and not what we want. So think about the person that you love or want to show more love to, figure out which language they belong to, and try some of these out. Experiment with them to show them more love, appreciation, and encouragement. I guarantee you it will increase and strengthen your bond almost immediately. And remember, this isn't a technique or a trick. This is a genuine conveyance of your love and what you feel about them. So give it a go.